Hey out there, Hollarius here. Welcome to Derry, Maine. Today, The Stand. I'm cheating a bit here because I'm actually talking about a book that was published 12 years later. Confused? Yeah, I get it. It's all because The Stand is Stephen King's longest book. The modern paperback edition has a whopping 1,300 plus pages. Cool, right? No one wanted to publish such a long book in 1978, so King cut it down by a third himself. In 1990, when King had long been the most successful living author in the world, they knew it was no risk to publish the full version, so since then there's been a revised and extended version set in a later time. Disclaimer. Today's episode will be a bit longer too. The pitch. A lab-created superflu wipes out 99.8% of humanity. We watch this unfold and see how the remaining 0.2% cope. Oh, and there's a good and an evil force, and in the end there's a final showdown. Hence the title. If you've read A Song of Ice and Fire, you know chapters that jump from one point of view character to another. We have those here too. And what characters we have. Even if we have very few women here, like one. Let's start with the woman. Franny Goldsmith is a college student, and when we met her, she's telling her boyfriend she's pregnant and breaking up with him. That's a promising start. Fran is the first well-written female character by King. She, like everyone else, will see the world around her die. After burying her father, and since their weird little brother of her best friend named Harold Lauder has also survived, they set off together to meet other survivors. Stu Redman is a simple worker at a calculator factory in Texas. He's there when the soldier who escaped from the lab where Captain Trips was developed crashes into his friend's Habs gas station. Stu and the entire town are taken to a disease control center. After a few weeks, he's the only survivor. Eventually, he'll have to break out of that well-secured hospital. Nick Andrews is young, deaf, and mute. He's making his way as a wandering worker and gets beaten up by some assholes. The sheriff takes him in and also arrests the assholes, including his own brother-in-law. Great. Because there's a strange cold going around, surely just a cold. Nick becomes the deputy sheriff and watches over his tormentors until they all die. He sets off on his journey and soon meets Tom Cullen. My God, yes, M-O-O-N. That spells Tom Cullen. Tom is in his mid-30s, but much younger mentally. Super practical. Nick can't speak. Tom can't read. So communication soon becomes quite one-sided. Larry Underwood is a musician and is surely about to become a star. His Baby Can You Dig Your Man is the last hit before the world dies. Because he's overextended financially, he flees California to his mother's place in New York. But she soon catches the flu. Oh, and how do you get out of Manhattan when everyone's dead? We must not forget the guys on the dark side, for instance, the Trash Can Man. Trashy is already a crazy pyromaniac when we meet him, and the world is already dead, but it burns beautifully. Trashy has a talent for anything that can destroy, could be a useful tool. And Lloyd Henreid, who's on a cocaine-induced murder spree before the flu, pokerizing lots of people with his buddy Poke. While Poke gets shot, Lloyd ends up in prison, where he's soon starving, because not only do the other inmates die, but so do the guards. But then a kind of demon shows up, one we'll read about in more than just this book, a certain Randall Flagg. On the other side stands the ancient Abigail Fremantle, and both appear in the dreams of the survivors, and with that we reach the fantastic side of the novel. Those who are drawn to Mother Abigail gather in Boulder, Colorado, not far from the Overlook Hotel, and Flagg's people in Las Vegas. Where else, right? It's such a place of vice. Important points! First, Captain Trips is not COVID-19. It's an almost magical virus, one that spreads incredibly fast and is always deadly. There are a few minor plot holes about the virus that I only know about since I got a bit smarter about viruses through COVID-19. But hey, Randall Flagg sometimes floats above the ground, so there can be a few plot holes concerning the virus, right? Second, yes, the first part, when there's still something of the old world until the two new civilizations are built, is the stronger part of the novel. On the other hand, the ending is a bit too Christian for my taste, but in the grand scheme, it's okay, just not as gripping as the beginning. Third, there are some problematic aspects. Mother Abigail fulfills the cliché of the magical black person, and with Nick Andrews and Tom Cullen, there are two really great characters with disabilities, still not common today, but Tom Cullen is sometimes too much of a comic relief. My God, yes! You see, I can't help it either. Oh, and the female protagonists are so clearly in the minority. Fourth, to reflect on the situation, because seriously, what changes when there are so few people left? King wrote a sociologist into the book. I can't pronounce the word. Stu's friend and travel partner Glenn Bateman. He gives us some insightful thoughts. The feeling. This is especially tricky when you've read a book multiple times. Yes, all 1,300 pages. Let's try. The Stand is a long journey with old friends. Why should you read this book? Because it's almost the ultimate King experience. The end of the world. A dark road trip. A lot of social critique. Wonderful characters and a new fascinating world. Just beneath the thin shell of our lives. M-O-O-N. That spells like. My God, yes. You can also subscribe. Do you want to see the elephants? Long days and pleasant nights. See ya out there.